There we go.
Right,
Jeff has
Menzel,
got the recording in progress.
To record?
We'll see what happens.
Last week, yes.
Yes, give it to me.
Because you just mic dropped in the middle of the show, so there's.
Yeah, I know. You got it. Okay, I'm
All
gonna
right.
push. I'm gonna play the
I am
music.
recording. Kick this pig.
Please, not the pig.
Poor pig.
Right? Why?
Pig always gets trouble. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SEC or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot hella sweet or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just a tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental. We are Everyone Racers. Thanks for listening to a general episode of our podcast. It's episode 235, recorded on March 16th. And on this day in 1968, General Motors produced its 100 millionth automobile, the Oldsmobile Tornado. So if you're not driving an Oldsmobile, your father's or otherwise, or any other car for that matter, bust out that E1R bingo card. You never know. And if you get bingo, we haven't had bingo in a while. Take a snap and send it to us. But we're going to kick this off, as we so often do, with a what you working on. And looking through all of this, I feel like
I want to know who's.
Yeah,
I do too. Go ahead. You were ready to.
I'm just at least the 100 millionth car was a decent car of General Motors, like a 68 Tornado, actually pretty decent. Like
you raced one. You with the Spank. Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
So this is why we couldn't let this go. We're like, we've driven this car. We got to talk about it.
At Sonoma, no less.
We got to talk about it.
Right.
And then he put the seat back in it and sold it like street legal. So
it's a big. That's
the
boy.
Transverse mounted V8 455 Oldsmobile, right?
It's longitudinal.
Yes. Oh, it's longitudinal.
Front drive, but longitudinal, but it had that chain drive transmission to make it front drive. The transmission was actually under the engine, but the engine still had its crank pulley at the radiator in the front.
And I'm very sure 1968 GM totally worked out all the bugs. No problem.
It was better than average. That chain drive transmission, they ended up putting that in that GMC motorhome thing.
I was going to say the entire cradle went into the front of the motorhome.
Right. And it survived well in that. So good on them, GM.
Also the Eldorado, same basic platform, flat floor luxury, front and back seat.
Totally.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a big.
Welcome to Everyone General Motors.
Yeah.
Podcast for the Malaise fans among you. But looking through our notes, I think the most interesting one is Jeff. So we'll go ask Chris, what you working on?
The Civic. Duh. I've been in wiring hell for a long time now, but I'm actually coming out of it. We're doing a K24 swapping our EG Civic to make a new race car. And I had all of the wires apart to make sure things were in the right place and get rid of things we don't need. But as of the end of last night, I actually had electrical power to the car. The gauges are confirmed to be working. All the lights are confirmed to be working, and the starter key actually turns the engine over. So those are all successful things, right? Next step is why doesn't the fuel pump come on? So let's chase the fuel pump relay and see what that is.
Needs fuel pump. Always needs fuel pump.
Right. But
that's okay.
Lots of other successes. Car's getting closer. And I've left the spaghetti all over the floor of the car until I'm sure that it's working before I start looming it all up, because that's when you come into problems, is after you loom it up and you say, damn it, now I have to undo it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What did we do on Sunday? We rescued your brothers, your nephews.
That's Jeff's.
Nephew.
Jeff's. Car. I'm sorry, I'm looking at
you. Because if my nephew's got a Sonata, there's some splaining to do because he's like 14.
Yeah. Well, if he's following your footsteps, someone offered him a terrible car at a terrible price, and he said yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Valid. Yeah. No,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, Jim's son, the clutch let out the magic smoke on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. He paid to get the tow off the turnpike to the closest available parking lot. and then we towed said Sonata back to the house after winching into the trailer after Jim forgot the keys. But fortunately, the car was unlocked, so that helped.
And it was right about when the security of said Lockheed Martin next to my work, actually, right down the street.
Oh, really? He was close to your work? I didn't realize.
Next-
that.
Yeah,
next
I
door.
can see my work from the parking lot where we were. But the Allied security people came around and were like, "What are you doing there?" And I said, "Well, there's 3 guys, and there's a Lexus sitting there. We're towing it in, and I'm wearing my cupcake hat." So I'm like, how bad can we be? If we're stealing this car, we're not like that sketchy looking.
And as far as he's concerned, we are a problem going away.
Yes.
Which is what security people want.
Because
So-
this Sonata was sitting there since Friday afternoon, and we didn't pick it up till Sunday afternoon. So it was just a long trek from our house, King of Prussia, southern New Jersey. Then we went to Delaware, and then we went home. So
Why did you go to Delaware?
Because we were already
Costco.
close and we had to go to Costco to stock up on booze because our local Costco
because
doesn't sell it.
Costco.
Pennsylvania Costco doesn't have booze, does it?
No.
And Pennsylvania Costco has tax.
Yes. So that's what we did.
All right, that's it.
That's it.
Well, that's Chris
Jeff,
and Chrissy.
Jeff
I
has
guess
to
I'm-
wait apparently. So mental, what were you working on?
So when we moved into the house, they put those awful wire shelves, the see-through baker
yeah, those are
extra
terrible.
shelves. Yes, in all of our closets. And Vicky finally said enough is enough. And we went and bought expensive lumber, which I'm not a guy, but holy crap, $300 in lumber.
And you
And
got 2 sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Dowels. So I've been replacing all the shelves in our various closets
So
with
loud.
actual birch.
Oh,
We-
that's nice.
Yes, a good friend from my childhood was in town, so I was playing tour guide, and he's an old airplane geek, so I got him on base, and we got to see
Oh.
while we were at the petting zoo, looking and sitting in the MiGs and all that kind of stuff. He's watching. He had never seen an F-22 in real life. I'm like, oh, there's like 4 of them. You can tell because they're super noisy. Oh, there's an F-35. Ooh, there's a Mirage. So he enjoyed that. Tomorrow's, of course, St. Patrick's Day, one of the 2 holy days in the Ward household. The other, of course, is Cinco de Mayo. I have gotten rid of the 928 engine and some other parts that are going away this weekend, and I got my Hans recertified.
Saw that. I saw that.
Rid of
Yes.
the car yet, though? Like the actual car?
No, he still hasn't paid me the money and figured out I was going to come get it.
That's the 928. Did the 928 buyer even contact you, or is he just completely ghosted you?
He did actually contact me, said, I'm the lunatic who bought your 928. I'm working on it. Just sent him a note today, said, okay, it's been 10 days. Because the guy that came and bought the engine said, if the seller doesn't buy it, let me know. So I got a guy over in Palm Springs that will turn right back around, come and get this car, and I will not look back seeing it go away. So I'm really done with the 928 that tried to kill me. So Jeff, you were taking in all kinds of culture,
Yeah. So I went to
exposing young, now tall Josh, who I just saw before the show started. It is now within a foot of Jeff. He is huge.
Yeah, my 13-year-old theater geek son, about to turn 14, a year and a half ago, got Hamilton tickets. So we were up in Manhattan enjoying a weekend away. And on the way home is when my brother called me and he said, you still in New York? I was like, well, technically I'm on the Jersey Turnpike. Why? And when I all of a sudden heard about the stranded Sonata and said,
You said,
"What?"
oh, just call Chris and Chrissy. They've got a trailer and do
No, I
nothing,
didn't
right?
say that at all. I said,
Yeah, no problem at
call
all.
AAA.
Yes,
Don't
they
you have
did.
AAA?
Well, they did, and it cost a boatload to get it from like 10 feet off of the turnpike, which no surprise. Right. Oh, that's why, because Pops has AAA, but the Sun does not. And therefore, and of course, all the travel that they do, they probably should have it anyway.
Yes. Have
They don't listen
AAA.
to the show, so it's
Yeah. Anyway, so
if they
yeah,
did, they would have it.
yeah. So I was not able to participate in the going to get the Sonata.
fine. And even if you did, your trailer is full.
My trailer is full, absolutely.
Right. So you weren't
With
going to help
broken
anyway.
Race car. So
Yes.
I mean, but yeah, I could have at least helped push. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So the only other, so because I was away in New York City, I didn't do anything car related, but I did try and buy a replacement wheel for the bent wheel on the Veloster N.
Yes.
Tire Rack won't have one through like the middle of April.
No surprise.
Yeah.
We can't get ours
so-
till mid-April. We're going to get the Merc summer wheels, and they won't
Yeah.
come in till then.
Yeah. So
I've got a
but
set of wheels I can give you guys. It'll probably bolt right on.
But,
When I bought mine, it came with like 9 wheels. It's
That's
great.
true.
I was reflecting
20s for ours. So yeah.
I was reflecting on Mental saying that there are no chicanes on college campuses. So I went and I took a picture of it. Now, the road that you can see off in the distance, that's where I drive in.
Oh,
as you
I
can
see. I
see-
see exactly where you absolutely your brothered it on that curb
Yeah.
coming off that road. We can also go back
There's
to
that dark
picture.
spot. That's
Yeah,
very
yeah, that's
oh,
it.
Yeah.
You
There it
totally,
is.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
totally gemmed that.
Yeah.
So you're not blaming that pothole. That was you trying to Miata it through that corner.
Absolutely. Never lift. Yeah, I was coming in there. I was
literally after the show we had about don't
Hit curves.
hit curbs, especially ditches right after bumps, which is exactly what this is.
Yeah, but you can see they have this like paved section
No,
here 'cause
no,
everybody
you do
does
this
it.
every day, and
Because
you knew it was there.
And
No
it's
excuses.
really deep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We can see.
Yes, Jeff. If this had happened at the track, you know what you would have to wear on your head for the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
You
And
probably still should in life.
yeah. Well, the
At home.
close to $400 that it cost me in tire and wheel.
Oof,
Oh my goodness.
that
Yeah.
does sting. That does sting a little bit. All right.
So
Now, if you've been paying attention and if you listen to the show, you have noticed a new voice in our group, and it is Jake. Jake, before I butcher your last name, how do we pronounce it?
We've already-
It's pronounced Thiewes. It's German, at least we're
Ah,
pretty sure.
We were going with
Oh.
Thiewes. Okay.
Most people
Jake-
do.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I went to Germany once and they all got it right. So I think it's German.
there you go.
There
Well,
we
now
go.
you say
All
it.
right.
You're,
Well, Jake,
yeah, I get it.
He's the resident German here, so
He is.
but you
I know.
failed at it, so
Well, I just didn't think about it. Oh, well.
But he lived there, so it's fine. Okay. Now, Jake Thiewes from Out Motorsports is our. I blew it again. I'm terrible
Close,
about this.
very close.
But he is our guest for this episode. And Jake, you have some Porsche related content that you were working on.
Yeah, and it's actually I'm not working on it because there's still a warranty on my 8-year-old car. So this is great. So I have a Cayenne diesel. I have a 2013 Cayenne diesel.
Oh, the
V10?
unicorn.
No, the V6 TDI.
The-
Okay,
yeah,
we
but
got
it tows 10,000 pounds. That's an amazing.
They're
car.
phenomenal cars. I
Yes.
got it last summer. I had a Ram 1500 that I sold for like $5,000 profit. So then it's like, well, now I need a car. So it's a 13 Cayenne diesel. I picked it up. It still had a Dieselgate warranty because they certified the entire long block and all the emissions components for 10 years from the date of first sale,
That's wonderful.
or 120,000 miles. And I'm like way under that. So there's also a line in the warranty booklet that says any disputes are to be settled in favor of the customer.
yeah.
So what
Who wrote that? I bet somebody.
I
checked
don't
that.
know. Not Porsche.
Probably a lawyer who owned a Cayenne diesel.
Exactly. So this is the same 3-liter TDI that's in the Touareg diesel, the Q7 diesel. I think some Q5s got it, some Audi sedans. But anyway, with Dieselgate, they fix them by basically doing a software update. And these motors are generally really stout, except they like to leak oil as they age. And in the Cayenne in particular, the way it fits, it's not the V10. V10 is like if you want to like add washer fluid, you drop the motor.
Those
with
are like
the
a
V6,
board cube of power,
right.
Yeah.
basically.
Right. So with the V6 TDI, they leak oil from places in the back, and it is an engine out repair. And we were towing home from dropping my race car off, and it chimed and said oil level low. So I pulled over and put some in, and then I looked like, the following morning, and it was like leaving spots on the ground, and the belly pan was wet. And according to a friend of mine who's a tech, that belly pan can hold a couple quarts of oil as it leaks. So the technician will get like a faceful. Anyway, I took it to the dealer, and there's a whole separate blog I need to write about the dealer that will charge me $725 for an oil change.
Ugh.
I'm not paying them for that part, but they're covering the entire repair under warranty. So my Cayenne is currently 4 miles from my apartment with the entire front subframe on a table while they reseal the entire motor.
Oh,
Wow.
Isn't that wonderful?
That is
Someone
Yeah.
else working on your car for free and making
Yeah.
it better.
just hopefully they do a good job putting it together.
Yeah.
Well, the service advisor said she actually brought the tech out to meet me, who's going to do the work, and he's been there for 25 years.
Oh, good.
So I'm sure he's
I
done
have-
more of these than he wants to admit.
You know what you should do someday when he's working on it? Just stop by and give him some brownies. Not
No, I've thought about like
we
donuts
did
or
that one
something.
time. We just
Yeah.
stop by and give them.
Well, that was when my Z4 was almost totaled and they basically repainted the whole car. And so a handshake with $100 in it was
we did give them cookies.
and cookies.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, we
No,
care.
I
We care
I
about
plan
you.
on doing something like that because they're gonna have it for like a month, and it's like a long time to get the parts. And according to people online, you get like the repair order that says like this would have cost you X and it cost you $0. This is like a $10,000 repair
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the service advisor called me and she's awesome to talk to. She goes, yeah, while it's out, we're just resealing everything, which works for me,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of work. So that's what's going on. And then my race car's at the shop being picked up tomorrow on the way to VIR.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So-
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of race car? Don't leave our listeners in suspense.
I have a 1995 E36 325 that is a NASA Spec 3 race car.
Boring.
It is
Say that, but
magenta
yes,
electric
nice.
pink. It is the least thing from boring.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pink.
fair
It is
enough.
it is the brightest pink that I could get Mako to spray it.
Mako to spray it. That's good.
It's a $400 paint job.
I actually know that car because it is on a sign on my door of my office. Because since we talked to you several weeks ago by email, I'm trying to convince some of my students to attend some of your events. So
Oh,
I have
okay.
like your calendar and your car up there. So
Okay.
no takers yet, but we'll get somebody sooner. or
Well,
later.
you can tell them I'm much cooler and better looking in person than on this podcast.
Oh, I didn't even mention you. I was just like, what's your car stuff?
Even better. All right.
So cool.
Okay,
Is it
Chrissy,
that
what
Chrissy
kind of
walked away?
I'll say what kind of acoustics do we have in the hotel room, Chrissy?
This is news and notes time.
Oh, Doris just okay. Usually
All
she
right.
yells. All right.
Yes, we
Not
get
allowed
a
to yell
great
anymore.
echo in the living room.
I'm not yelling anymore.
Okay.
All right,
Who's got a story?
take a long drag from the vape pen for this one. The STI is no more. In a press release, Subaru stated their new focus on electrification as well as automotive industry shift towards more EVs and alleged environmental stewardship. Quote, as part of that effort, Subaru Corporation is exploring opportunities for the next generation WRX STI, including electrification. In the meantime, a next generation internal combustion engine WRX STI will not be produced based upon the new WRX platform. Now, all is not gone. There are some indications the STI might return as a performance electric band. Again, quoting Subaru, future sports performance cars should evolve to meet the needs of a changing marketplace and the regulations and requirements for greenhouse gases, zero emissions vehicles, and corporate average fuel economy. And you can read that entire story by Matt Polsky at The Truth About Cars. It's linked in our show notes.
That's not a surprise, is it really?
I was surprised.
They had like the engine in the works to make the STI, and that is kind of like their bread and butter. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
No.
they would do one more, like go out with the bag.
The last
But
last
Subaru
all
would
A lot of
ages.
other
It's like
people
the
are.
last entry, like put some little trim on it and call it the
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah,
Farewell
call it
edition
the-
or something.
Mhm.
yeah, limited edition, last one we've ever made ever.
Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised that the next one will be probably hybrid, but yeah, you're right. They probably could have done one more and sold a gazillion of them.
I mean, it's a Subaru.
Yeah.
It's going to blow up anyway. Oh, well.
Head gaskets.
Yep. All right. Hey, if you're a regular listener, you know how much of a fan we are of bad ideas, like endurance racing a Rolls Royce or a Citroen SM. All good. Restoring an abandoned C4 Corvette for a rally. Yeah, we're down. How about building and racing an actual boat? Been there, done
Been
that
there.
before it was cool even. So now we're not the only silly people that race bad ideas in this world, and thank God there are others. So check out Rob Stump's story over in the drive about the world's first limousine to finish the famous Mint 400 off-road race. It's a great tale of the stubbornness of Jim York and Gabby Downing, as well as a decent explanation of the modifications it takes for such a ridiculous endeavor. A snippet from the article that tells of the limo rolling up to a checkpoint and a staff member telling York he had just lost a $10 bet. Quote, both Gabby and I admitted that right before this time, we both had the thought, maybe we just call it. Neither of us would admit that until after the race, said York. Quote, then this guy betting against us meant that there was still likely some for and against us that we weren't stopping until the limo just couldn't move or we passed the finish line. And yeah, the limo kept the full bar.
If you have not seen this thing,
It is
It's
awesome.
gorgeous. Yeah.
It's so
I'm about
cool.
to share.
You're gonna share it.
I assumed Mental would share it, but he didn't.
Oh,
So
sorry.
here it comes.
Usually sharing everything.
So it's a Lincoln.
Oh,
It's a stretch.
That's
It is
amazing.
lifted. It has, would we call them zoomies? Zoomy tubes on the side there.
Yeah, the four side pipes like an old
Yeah.
70s drag car.
And I'm
Fantastic.
pretty sure those are electric steps to get into the
Yeah,
back door.
right. There's a little
They
stirrup.
are.
There's a stirrup for the front seat, and then there's little
Like bus steps.
Or from an
Yes.
RV.
yeah, like your RV
Yeah.
Yeah, like
steps.
the RV
but
steps
yeah.
is exactly what they are. Yeah, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
that's
And
amazing.
Mint 400, man, that's a crazy race.
Oh,
Yep.
I
The
love those
source of the
dudes.
infamous Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas book.
That's right.
That was what Hunter Thompson was sent to cover. But I saw this story when he said, "Oh, people are betting against us. We're not quitting until
stopping."
this thing is still moving." I'm like, well, there's our kinds of idiots.
yeah, that's awesome. Good for
Oh,
them.
Boy.
All right, we mentioned the Andretti effort to start another American Formula One team. Their choice of for the driver, a second-generation champion, Colton Herta, is now one step closer. Racers Magazine's Marshall Pruitt is reporting that the 21-year-old will begin working on the McLaren Racing. A new testing and development contract allows Colton to take part in F1 tests through what is called F1's TPC allowance. TPC standing for testing a previous car. And the, yeah, right. Well, then people would remember what it stood for. In this case, that is the McLaren's MCL 35M chassis from the last season. Herta is likely to be joined by other racers in McLaren's TPC pool, and right now that allocation is not for the Free Practice 1 or FP1 sessions. However, F1 teams are mandated to run rookies in at least 2 free practice sessions, according to the FIA rules that were designed to increase new driver opportunities. These McLaren drives are designed to interweave with Colton Herta's full-time Andretti Autosports IndyCar contract.
I'm pretty sure this is the road to the super license.
Probably.
'Cause they talked about not being able to bring Colton this year because he did not have a super license. so-
Probably. Talk about a hard thing to get, and you get somebody to.
He's not going to ditch his Indy contract to go race Formula 3.
Well, it's- yeah.
TPC.
Especially when his road to Formula One is with the guy that is paying his IndyCar
As long
salary.
as somebody should listen to Mental get on his pedestal about how much Andretti should be allowed in and blah blah blah.
It's the Andrettis. The world loves the Andrettis.
Right? Tell us how much you love this.
Hey, you know what the world doesn't like? The war in Ukraine. We're going to go there really quick. Sorry, it's a little bit of a bummer, but we know it's an economic, it's a tragedy. There's lives being lost. It is not, if you're bitching about your gas prices, shut up. But the few recent developments in the car world, some that we might have heard of and some that are new. Everybody's complaining about the fuel prices. Volkswagen and Porsche both had to shut down their production because it turns out their wiring harnesses are made in the Ukraine. And the obviously they're not making any. They're busy running for their lives, but also some less known things like cheaper JDM imports because they are now blocked from going to Russia. So there's a glut in the Japanese used car market. Who knew? BMW said BMW and Volkswagen are going to start making more SUVs this year because they build them in America and Mexico. So there'll be a lot more of them around. All of these stories are going to be linked, but the one I want to talk about is the gearheads with welders who do fun stuff. And in the Ukraine, there is a Kiev auto repair shop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, the Kiev Auto Repair Shop, which has pivoted to adopting captured Russian weapons for the Ukrainian forces. It seems he talked around. Some of his crew had weapons tech from former engineering jobs, and they drafted some plans. They distributed across the country, and someone built. Mental, you going to share this one? This fabulous BMW, I believe it is a 6 Series convertible into what is now called a technical. In case you didn't know, and thanks Mental for giving me the information, a technical is, in military terms, is mounting heavy weaponry on a consumer vehicle, usually a small 4x4 pickup truck, usually it's a Toyota. And the reason is simple. It allows for a serious firepower and a high mobility at low cost. But as you can read in the linked article, Ukraine weapons tracker, there's no reason a luxury BMW ragtop can't do the same thing. A BMW carrying again, thank you Mental for finding this out, an NSV, which is a Soviet designed 12.7 millimeter, or basically a 50 cal machine gun mounted in the trunk of a convertible BMW.
Absolutely. Because if you're going to be doing some running and gunning, do it with some style.
And no one cares about the Bengal design trunk lid. Machine gun in it. Yes.
I was noticing two different colored doors is really
Yeah.
what I was saying.
That would be a good one where you just kind of rack back the 50 cal and go, say Bengal again, mother.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be like they wrapped the doors and the hood in what looks like, it's like, don't shoot me, I'm Ukrainian, not Russian. Like, because it has like words all over it. So, I don't know.
Good.
That's cool to me.
Okay.
Hey, you know what else is cool? Find this on racingjunk.com. There is a March Madness bracket for your ride. You can register your ride, and then there's going to be a March Madness bracket, and we're going to vote on who's the better ride. All of you look for our race cars because we're going to register ours. Chrissy, you got something to add to this?
I was just wondering when it starts. March is almost over.
Well,
March Madness starts this weekend, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Did you enter your cars?
I didn't enter anything yet.
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Mental did. Oh man. All right. After the podcast, I will load up the boat.
The big blue bomber's totally getting interested. I put in a shot of it between two vintage racing Mercedes that I took at Willow Springs last year.
Nice. And Chrissy, what'd you put in?
The Mazda.
The Mazda?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
I had 2 pictures of the Mazda on the racetrack.
Awesome.
You?
I put the NSX in because it's an NSX.
I hope you got the license plate because that will get votes.
No, I didn't actually.
No.
Oh.
No, the one of you on coming down in pit.
Yeah,
race.
it's pictures on pit race of the
Right.
car because it looks good.
Jake, just so it's not so much insider baseball, they've got their NSX and the vanity plate says VTEC, yo.
Ah, that's perfect for it.
Well, since Chrissy can't yell, I will. Upcoming races.
Champ car is rolling into NCM and what's left of it, at least, for the Kentucky Grand Prix Ace Plus 7-hour Enduro. 32 cars, so they're not going to see each other very much at all. 12 of which are BMWs, which are usually
Boring.
7
Almost
Miatas,
always.
1 Honda, 2 Porsches, and one of the 3 Corvettes is from Laps of Honor, who we profiled at PRI. Did we?
Very cool. Yes, we
Hey,
did.
Yeah.
do we we don't really care, but how long NCM can be chopped up a little? I was
Yeah,
wondering.
is this full?
do we have
track?
right? Is it?
I didn't see. It wasn't as obvious on the website.
Either way, with 32
So-
cars
Yeah, I
on
know.
NCM,
It's still
like,
because they usually chop off like north and south. I don't know what they call
Yeah.
it, north and south.
Well,
They
I-
only
the-
cut off
the time-
sinkhole.
The time we ran it, they did, and every time that they've been back, the overwhelming response is give us a sinkhole. So
Sinkhole-
we're
Yeah,
running-
sinkhole's super cool.
Sinkhole's worth it.
but
Yeah,
still,
exactly.
this is going to be like the last HPDE session of Sunday with that many cars out there.
When-
Like, you're
when
not
it's
gonna see
raining.
anyone at all. No.
Everybody's
Yeah.
gone home.
Recent
boy.
results.
Okay. Lemons had the West Coast season opener at Sonoma. Uncle Dave and Dishwashing Fairy made it out there from our
They
team.
had a blast.
Totally
They had a
did.
blast.
Yep. Overall in Class A was You Mad Bro and their homemade but still boring BMW. Class B went to Pour choices in a VW Golf. And Class C finally went to Junk Runners in their Ford Ranger. Because nothing says race car like a Ford Ranger.
Ford Ranger is like the worst mini truck to run. That's
Now, As Jay put it when he gave out the trophies, heroic fix actually went to heroes. Ranger Road got their golf back
great.
together after an unfortunate incident on Saturday, and Screwed was baronet in a 97 VW Cabrio, which usually that's just your shortcut.
Usually
you're screwed.
No one wants to screw you in a cabrio. So
Yes,
call.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm ching, right? Yeah, that was good.
Judge's choice was Franken Falcon, the 64 Ford Falcon. Org choice was Anal Probe returns to Earth in their Ford Probe. They had the greatest costumes. If you haven't seen it,
They dress Button Willow too. They're amazing.
yeah, they dress up like aliens and they swing probes around.
Yeah. I still
everywhere.
have my Diary of Butt Stuff book that they were giving out as a bribe from Button Willow.
Worst dressed was Indecent Exposure in their 77 Pontiac Camaro thing. I don't know what it was.
The IOE went to Team Apathy in their
Sonda.
Sonda.
Son. Is it
Sonda,
really? I
yes,
was
yes.
like, mental. Come on. No, I'm sorry. Oh, Sonda, a sub-powered. If I keep reading, that would know. A sub-powered Honda N600. The Halloween meets gasoline top prize went to the Del Camino in their 85 Pontiac Trojan. Tojan. I'm sorry, Tojan. What amazing car. Which makes Corey Dickman the Halloweenist meets gasolinist winner in Lemon's history.
And he has our hearts. Obviously, we love Corey. Champ Car was back to Texas for their spring Harris Hill race. On Saturday, the Miata from Lone Star Rallycross bested the Miata from Winkler Motorsports by 80 seconds. 4 laps back was the Miata from Lumber Racing for third.
Wow.
And it was a spec
It was
Miata
like- it was
race
like-
for the entire rest
Yeah,
of
it was
the
like 20
3/4 Miatas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
then
well.
Jeff, go.
Sun Lone Star did it again, 4 laps over second place Winkler, and the one not Miata, thank you Toyota from Night Fury, was 7 laps back in 7th.
Third, 7 laps, playing third.
7 back laps in 3rd. Sorry, I was already ready
Whatever.
to yell listener feedback time.
It's my turn. I was gonna look.
Oh,
No. He interrupted you to read his good copy. Whatever. On our making it last episode, Hack
Shh,
Factory.
we have guests. Pretend we like each other.
Oh, that's right. Okay, and we don't.
He's already regretting this.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. We're not. Well, we'll get to talk very soon. But making it last.
it's okay. This is
episode-
all vodka. Don't worry.
I'm glad somebody gave you the heads up about that. Hack Factory said, listening to Chris talk about keeping off the curbs, all I can picture is him in the right seat with the small end of fishing rod smacking the knuckles of the driver, yelling, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!"
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a bonus F1 episode that we dropped earlier this week.
Yes, we
I'm
did.
sorry if we forced you to listen twice, but we try not to talk about pro racing on this thing, but we want to talk about pro racing for a change. We asked for your bold and not bold predictions, and Tim B said bold prediction: Gasly will have 2 podium finishes this season.
Hey, he's on with me. He
Ah,
made
all
the
right.
actual prediction. I just said he's gonna do good.
Well,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Gooder.
fizzled.
Jake, you should join our fantasy league on Formula One. We'll get you the info for that.
Ooh, all right. I'm in.
All right.
Any do you have any bold or not so bold predictions for the next F1 season?
None at all.
That's fine.
Good.
Do you know what
watch
F1
Drive?
is?
Do you even
I've
watch
heard
Drive
about
to
it.
Survive?
Cool.
I've heard
bro?
about all of this racing stuff, but
That's cool.
Yeah.
We're there.
We
You're
didn't get
gonna do
into it
really well.
until Chrissy
Good.
drug us all into it after she watched Drive to Survive, and then we all got addicted to it.
It's all good.
Damn it,
It's
I
a
was
good time.
free. Go on.
And hey, lastly, AJS asked us a question about our favorite tow pig, the Suburban. Random question, going to look at an 03 Suburban 2500 tow rig later this week. Any words of wisdom Chris may be able to offer and things to look for besides the basics? Quadra steer truck. So that's what we have is an 03 Suburban 2500 quadra steer. It's wonderful at truck things. I hate the fact that it's still a 4-speed automatic transmission though. Like that just kills me going up hills and stuff. Like I just want 6 gears, please. Like please, but no, I can't have them. But in general, it's just look for all the LS stuff. Like the front end's probably going to need something. But if it's been generally maintained, it's fine. Brake lines are probably going to need to be replaced because they do on all of them at that point. Watch out for rust, especially in the rockers. the mechanics are really simple. It's probably going to have 1, 2, 3 bolt heads cracked off on the exhaust manifolds because that's what they do.
It's totally normal.
Yep. But the quadristeer has been super reliable in ours. The only thing I've done that's different quadristeer wise is I've replaced the outer tie rod ends, and that was like $20 each from Rock Auto. And then, but otherwise, the car will turn in the same radius as a Honda Accord, and it's a Suburban.
God, that's incredible.
It's a
Glorious.
backing a trailer into something with that is the coolest thing ever.
It's fun
So
to watch.
I really wanted a quadristeer truck. My first ever tow vehicle was a '05 Yukon Denali. So
Oh yeah.
Almost the same
TMT
thing.
800.
Yeah.
It was the prettiest truck that was the least reliable vehicle I've ever owned.
Oh,
And
that's a shame.
It was a one owner dealer maintained vehicle in Northern Virginia from people who clearly had money. So I was like dumbfounded. Everything broke on mine. But
It's a shame. I'm
quadristeer
sorry.
is so cool. And is it one of those things where like if you just leave it turned on and use it, it stays working?
I think so.
Because like people complain, oh, it breaks and you can't fix it and you can't get the parts. And I feel like it's one of those things where if you just like don't disable it and let it keep trying to turn the wheels, it'll
Yeah.
We don't
probably
this
keep
point,
working.
No, we always leave it on because why wouldn't you? It works
Because
great.
it's amazing.
And
I'm
Right.
not really good at driving actual trucks because I have quadristeer. So
Because you can
I
just like
tend to,
whip this thing
back
anywhere.
things into other.
Right.
When I drive somebody else's truck, I just back into stuff.
I mean,
because-
we've had it for 10 years. It has 193,000 miles on it. And really, the only quadristeer related issue we've had was the outer tie rods, which, okay.
Right. I mean, whatever.
That's where
What motor's in yours? Is it a
6
6.0?
liter. 6
Okay.
liter 4L80. So like that's the reason I wanted the 2500 because well,
Mhm.
what's going to go wrong with that? And like
Right.
and the stuff that's gone wrong is like not much considering the age and mileage and use case for this. The only time we really drive it is pulling things
except
or
all the time right now.
well, yeah, now this is the one problem we have. Stupid GM readiness monitors on the emissions thing. They don't set
Oh.
below 45 degrees. And so now it's over 45 degrees. I'm finally driving it to get the stupid thing done to get my emissions. But whatever. Then when it's done, I can start driving the NSX.
Also, not
again.
ours is not pretty because it's like the gold beige color.
Oh, yeah.
So just,
That-
like,
all of
Yeah,
them were.
GM Grays. They painted every car they made that color for like
Beige.
5
it's really,
years.
it's really ugly. So I would not say it's a.
It
pretty
is
car.
good for
Dirt.
not looking dirty.
Dirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really good.
Mine was that
GM
like
Grage.
that color shifty, like blue-green metallic.
Oh, that's pretty though.
Yeah, that's what
It
I
was
said.
it was beautiful. It just leaked every fluid it had, and then the brake lines rotted, and then the transmission started slipping, and I could go on. But like,
well.
if you care for them, they're good. I think the last people just didn't with mine.
Well, you didn't get a $10,000 warranty repair to reseal
Exactly.
that. One, yes.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
good.
Not from a GM dealer.
No.
As we record this, there is actually the Lemons iRacing Sim Racing is going on, but of course we still have our E1R iRacing.
And we did it on Monday night as usual. We went to Wild West Motorsports Park, which is an off-road, jumpy, dirty track thing. And we took the Pro 2 trucks and legends for the first race. Well, it was most of us in Pro 2 trucks. Tyler had a legend. And amazingly, as usual, the Pro 2 trucks and legends are about the same speed overall, depending on where you go.
We should mention the Pro 2 trucks just go straight through all the turns, while the
Yes.
legends actually have to follow the course.
Yes. Where in the dirt, the Pro 2 trucks are very good at the jumps, but the legends are actually better at the turning and things. So it actually all works out really nicely. So that was fun. And then the second race was all of the dirt race cars we could find. They're made for circle track stuff, but putting them on the jumpy course, the late models and the modifieds and the sprint cars. And apparently the big block modified was the best, but it was also like it was a 1 lap here. It was entirely uncontrollable, except for like the 1 lap you could get it to work. So silly things, but that's why we do it sometimes. And this is a silly race week. It was fun.
Yes.
Good times had by most.
Now, in a recent interview on Sky Sports, Lewis Hamilton revealed that while he is quite proud of the Hamilton name, he does wish to change his name to incorporate his mother's surname. Larballister is the best I could come up with into his name. Do you know whose name we should all incorporate into our names?
I was wondering where you were going with this.
Because I'd like to be known as W. Christian Mental. Hi, Chrissy's mom, Ward.
Oh, she's gonna like that, and that's a new one. That's good. That's
It's a good
far out.
thing.
And
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Hi, Chrissy's mom. Also on the post of Jeff's Whoopies pie, Ashley D pointed out that she has lovely handwriting as well.
She has really good Catholic cursive writing.
Right, correctly.
Catholic
She'll be beaten.
school.
She tells me all the time about how I have a lot of Catholic handwriting,
Not
and it's
nearly as good.
oh no, because I no,
Because you went to boarding school for 4 years. That ruined it.
I
Main topic time.
Is this for me?
I don't know. I don't know who's doing the
Yeah,
intro. Who's
you
doing
go.
the intro?
Yeah, you just
You're good.
Sure. Hi, everyone. This week, in case you haven't heard, we're talking to, and I'm going to do it again because I forgot how to say it already, Jake Thiewes.
That is.
Oh, sir.
Closer. Yeah, we're going to get there. Who is the a title for Out Motorsports? Are you the owner proprietor of Out Motorsports?
Yeah. Owner, proprietor, founder, editor in chief.
Because
you
yeah,
go.
your
Any and all of
signature
that.
block just has your name in Out Motorsports. So very
Yeah.
unpretentious.
Yeah. But yeah, so Out Motorsports is a multimedia company that does events and a website and reviews and a YouTube channel and everything else. I don't want to steal your thunder and try and give your mission statement. So why don't you tell us what exactly is Out Motorsports?
Yeah. So at its core, we are a community first and foremost, by and for the LGBTQ community, who are into cars and amateur motorsports. Me and a friend got started doing this longer than I want to remember at this point, because we both realized we were both out gay men having a pretty good time doing amateur motorsport, and we didn't see a whole lot of people like us. And we figured, hey, maybe people aren't really encouraged to commit to something that's largely been, portrayed as being for cisgender straight white men. So
I hear you.
we decided, we first decided to just start writing about our own adventures, and then we kind of grew everything, and it snowballed, and now we're hosting track events and road rallies, and we do new car reviews, and it's all been a whole lot of fun.
That's awesome. So what came first? Was it the writing on the website, or was it the YouTube channel, or was it the events?
It was the writing.
Okay.
So I've been working with NASA since I was in college, since I was 18 and a half, which really correlated with like the age and process by which I came out. So like all of my NASA family they were some of the first people I kind of, told about all of this. And the writing started as part of that. And I've always been kind of a writer. So it was like, oh, cool. If I start this is a great place to just talk about how my weekend went, and the car broke and I fixed it and I drove it into a tree. And, that's what really started everything. And then we did a little bit with events, and then finally started doing YouTube, because it's another great way to make, connect with people that may not be on Facebook, Instagram, other social.
I remember seeing the video you guys made on, because I've been I internet know you from the GRM forum. We've been there for a long time, right? So
Yeah.
The off-roading in terrible off-road cars video, that was great.
That trip was so fun.
Yeah.
I bought one of my many terrible BMWs I've had. I had a 2001 X5 for that. The hero of that weekend was two friends that are a couple from Florida drove up in a like 94 Subaru Legacy wagon on STI wheels. And they the tire sidewall was like this big. They immediately ripped a hole in the sidewall and did the entire 2 days of off-roading on the original donut spare.
Oh,
And like
Wow.
drove
That's
it
excellent.
out of town on the donuts. Like it was just fine. So
That's excellent.
yeah, that trip
that's
was good.
awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the fact that you're trying to build a community. And Chrissy, who's not sitting in her seat right now, so I'll begin her. I'll speak for her briefly, but I usually don't, because that's
I'm
like
right
mansplaining.
here. I'm right here.
Oh,
right
go ahead.
here.
Oh, hello.
Gotta pour a new
Uh,
drink. It's
No,
right there.
I was getting some water. Goodness
That's fine.
gracious.
That's fine. But I wanted to go back to, you mentioned that sometimes didn't feel right being at the track. And we definitely know that we are deep in the cis white male area here, because luckily we have Chrissy on our team who stands next to me, and I go, I can't believe they said that to you frequently.
We've had whole conversations where it's like, wait, you really feel that way? Like you're the only person, and then like I get out of the car and it's me, and you're just like,
Mhm.
oh, weird. That was you driving? Yeah. I mean, it's taken a long time to get that way, but I'm sure you understand. Yes.
Yeah. And I have a lot of friends who are women in motorsport that get a lot of comments like that, like a shocking amount.
Yeah.
You
I
know
mean,
a lot about cars for a girl.
Right. I can't believe you know how to strap your own car in the trailer. It's like do you think she has a single digit IQ? Like this, come on.
I was going to say,
Ratchet
I've
straps.
seen single digit IQs.
I was going to
strap
say,
cars to
it has
trailers.
nothing to do with actual IQ. It's
Right.
actually just, do you have motivation? Do you
I've
not
seen-
want your car to roll around your trailer? Is really what it comes
Right.
down to, right? Like if
Right.
you can figure it out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go on, Chris.
Well, I was gonna say I've got a student that when she was 15, her dad gave her an E30, and she said, "Dad, I wanted a stick shift," and he goes, "Well, so she grabbed a wrench and she converted it to a manual before she had her driver's license, and she's
Nice.
in graduate school now. She'll take it to BMW shows all the time. She's actually a pretty good driver as well, and people always still in friggin' 2022 come up and go, "Oh wow, that's a stick? Yeah. Is it yours? Yeah. You drove it here? No, dumbass. I pushed it. I live in San
Right.
Diego."
And
Yeah.
half of them where you say
Wow.
like, can you drive it? Like maybe
Right.
not.
Yes. Yeah. And even fewer of them. Well, yeah, here's the keys. Take it. Oh, you don't know how? Shut up.
Right.
We've definitely talked frequently on this show about just the the manliness of a paddock, the whiteness of a paddock, the straightness, obviously of a paddock that is discerning sometimes. Like it's concerning when it hits me, but being from the privileged class, I don't see it all the time. So I'm glad when Chrissy recently ran some women only motorsports events, especially the one from Porsche. Little jealous.
Bad jealous. I was a lot
Yeah.
jealous.
Heck yeah. That was great.
Yeah. So I don't want to go too far in it, but like, so when you were, for out motorsports, what's your main motivation? Is it to get more people feeling more comfortable, or to give a space where maybe you can draw people in, or is it, are you hitting a community that you don't think is getting marketed to?
I mean, I think yes to all of that. I have a couple thoughts. So, I mean, my biggest thing with hosting track events at this point, I'm a really big believer that doing HPDE and autocross and like any sort of like low stakes motorsport, even once or twice in your life, makes you a better driver on the street, makes you safer. Like everyone should do it. My mom has done it. My dad has done, like everyone gets it. However, it is really tough to convince a group of people to come do it when they don't see themselves represented in marketing, in photos from the events, online conversations that happen where people, feel a little more free to show who they are. So, one focus of me hosting these is it's not even that I'm marketing to you, it's that the host of the event looks like and is like you. So it's not meant to be exclusionary. And we've had a lot of cis straight people come to our past events. But, it's very rare that you will go to a motorsport event and have an out gay man standing in the back of a pickup truck hosting the driver's meeting. So, if I can be that person, then great. And if that means that people then go on to do NASA, SCCA, Champ, Lemons, whatever, even better. And if they don't, and they can avoid a crash on the street, okay.
Yeah.
Because I do want to touch on this. You had an article on the website, and then you've got the video as well. And I love the cars that you had showed up to your Summit Point event. I mean, what just some of these, and I'm going to steal a quote for, actually, would you read the quote if you could see it on your notes about
Yeah.
it starts? Yeah.
This was so fun. Okay, so here's what I wrote. We had everything from an AMC Eagle to a Daewoo Lanos to a Dodge Aries. There was an old cop car with working lights and sirens, gold Cadillac Fleetwood, a baby blue Crown Vic that had been driven to Summit Point from Arkansas. We had perhaps the only surviving Eagle Vision ESI and a Chevy Cavalier that looked like it was pulled from a swamp but still ran.
We were at Summit Point a decade ago when someone gave an Eagle ESI over to the staff because the Lemons had just quit doing the People's Curse, but everybody wanted to watch a car get destroyed. So they put it out there on that firing range that they have out there.
Yeah.
Just shot the whole thing up because it was like, this car is so bad. Here it is for free if you promise to destroy it. So I love that one made it to the track.
Yeah.
That's quite a list there.
That was specifically what was it? Orphan car weekend?
Orphan makes and models. Yeah.
Orphan makes and models. Yeah.
So with all of these events we've done, we did the all-wheel drive off-roaders that shouldn't be off-roaded. We did a rally cross of cars your grandparents would love. And every year we're trying to do a new theme.
This is amazing.
That's
if you've ever seen a Mercedes S-Class at full opposite lock in the dirt, like you have not lived until you've seen that because it will do it. A six-cylinder S-Class will do it.
You are speaking my language. Everything right up until six-cylinder. If it was a V8 S-Class, but that
$1,500 budget.
Raise your hand if you're the only one on the podcast who has never had a Mercedes. So there you go.
Yeah.
Does not bleed the three-pointed star.
You could still get there.
8-time consecutive Formula One champion.
You've got 6 weeks until our event. You can
Ooh.
What is the theme of the next coming event?
So this last year was Orphan Makes and Models, so stuff you can't buy anymore in the US. The theme this year, because the car market is so nuts, we went a little more generic. So it's favorite family haulers. So the benefit to this is the way insurance is written for this event, because we are doing autocross format on a racetrack. Autocross rules basically apply, which means anything that's unibody can come, which means minivans and station wagons and small crossovers are all okay.
Excellent.
So my hope is to see one of every General Motors U-body represented. I don't know if that will happen.
What does autocross on a racetrack look like? That's just cones on the track?
So take a race circuit, cut it in half, start from point A, go to point B, which takes you to the halfway point go for best time. We might have some cones on the straightaway to slow you down, although with a lot of these cars, like a Dodge Aries can't go very fast. It's just,
they're factory limited.
Yeah. They try really hard.
I think
but
all
then
of them
we'll
do, don't they? They all do.
Yeah. So we'll run from.
What's the date on this one?
This is May 7th and 8th. It's Mother's Day weekend. If anyone wants to come and is concerned about that, just bring your mom. She's invited.
There you go.
Bam.
We raced Father's Day weekend forever.
And
at
Mother's Day.
Summit Point. At Summit Point.
And Mother's Day.
Yeah. In fact, it was Mother's Day at Sebring. If you brought your mom, you got a free entry.
Chrissy,
oh wow.
Bring your mom in her Mazda 5. Her Mazda 5 fits the
theme. That would fit the theme.
Or Snowflake, which is
that can't go.
Oh yes.
That body on frame can't go, but the Mazda 5 already has ponies.
True. It might do better than it should.
It'll probably be all right.
The problem is.
And we've got a link, obviously, to your webpage on on our show notes, and specifically that event. And that's why I wanted to make sure, because it is listed on there. That is just fantastic. I love the idea of family haulers doing that sort of thing. That's great. Right up our alley.
It's gonna be so fun.
We are long roof aficionados around here. So
yes,
we are.
My mind immediately went to wagons. So.
I think a lot of people are looking for wagons. I think it's just a challenge of what you can find. The other problem that my friend who had the Eagle last year has brought up is that some people don't want to keep these things when they're done. So you have to think about resale. It took him almost 3 months to sell the Eagle. And it was a nice car. So he was looking at, I think, a Buick wagon, like a Century, like an A-body or something, with the wood paneling.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, this is perfect. And he's a realtor here in DC. And he goes, first of all, I can't put clients in this. And how am I going to sell that in DC when I'm done with it? So he's looking for other cars.
He puts it on Virginia's Facebook marketplace, and then just says in DC.
Right. So we'll see.
Oh,
Okay.
that is so our kind of silly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you do track days. We already mentioned that. You also
Mhm.
do rallies, and we are
Yeah.
also rally fans. But tell us about what your rally formats are like. Specifically, the Longwood one has my antenna up. So,
So yeah, so this like road rallies might be a bit of a misnomer. This is something we wanted to add this year where, for people who may think a track day is a bit too much of a commitment, they just want to get out and meet some people. Maybe they don't have a car they can use on the track. We just want to have a reason to get people together, drive on some nice back roads, and like do a lot of social stuff at the end of the day. So it's like an all day thing, point A to point B, lead
yeah,
car,
a
follow
tour.
car.
Tour.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
kind of a tour sort of deal.
Back road
So
tour.
we've got one 2 weekends from now that will end at Longwood Gardens.
Oh.
So very excited for that. And then we're doing 3 more later in the year. So kind of all up and down the East Coast for now. My hope is to do this elsewhere too, but get there at some point.
That
Is
is
there
just
any
fantastic.
points, or is it just have a good
It's
time?
just to come and have fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I
And
assume
we'll
there's
end
a-
at some different spot every time. So
I was
like
gonna
we'll
say
end it,
there's a place to get a beer and wine at the end. I'm sure. right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
we've-
that.
Yeah. Now, in shifting a little bit, and if you're remotely interested in this for the gearhead aspect of it, or trying to find a community, because what I also love looking on your events page, you host a I believe monthly Zoom meeting where you guys are just talking about silly car
So
stuff. I imagine.
we give topics for those too. So those started as a COVID activity because we couldn't get together in person when
Mhm.
everything first went down. So initially we started doing them weekly, and then said, "Hey, there's an appetite for this. Would you all keep doing this if we did it like once a month on a cadence?" And we just got together. So we have over 130 members paying to do this. Not everyone comes to every call, but
Oh, that's fantastic.
pretty good numbers. And yeah, it's the first Wednesday of every month, and we have people calling in from as far away as Australia, and we've had people call in from England, all the different coasts in the US. And yeah, we pick a topic that is, should appeal to pretty much everyone, and they can have something to say. And we kind of do you get 5 minutes to talk, pass the ball to someone else, because with 40
That's
some people on a call,
exactly
it can
what
get
you
really
need.
loud.
Yeah.
What are some of the topics?
Oh, the last one we did was cars of your exes, which was a spicy one.
So topics like that, you
Purple
have
Geo
to
track. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not supposed to chat about now, right?
you have to cut people off with open-ended
Yeah.
things like that. You could go on forever.
Yeah, that was the most recent one. I think the one upcoming is your weirdest or most expensive repair or repair bill.
You have one of
Spurred
those.
on by my yeah, right. This was spurred by
Right.
the Porsche.
Personal experience.
So yeah, I have a really long list. I had a lot of the members send in suggestions, so I just have a big list to pick from every month.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. Every week we ask for our listeners to give us topics for show ideas, and I think we've received 0 in 5 years.
I know.
so-
We've gotten
One from one
guy.
one guy,
All the stuff he doesn't want to cover on his podcast.
or
That's true.
doesn't feel equipped.
All right. Now this is and I'm probably going to completely screw up even asking this question, but it's a valid question, I think, for people like me. My whole thing at the track is I truly do not care, political orientation, any of that kind of stuff. Do you like cars? Do you not like cars? Kind of a
Right.
deal. But I know I do this, and luckily when I'm really overt about it, some friends will correct me, but what are unconscious biases or microaggressions, which I know that's a hot topic word because we don't like to know that we are making people uncomfortable, especially when we're genuinely not trying to. And there's a tendency to try and put that back on but it's a microaggression where you create this environment that makes people feel unwelcome. Particularly at motorsports events, given your background and your heritage and how you came to this. And I love that the people you came out to first are your gearheads. That is
Yeah.
amazing to me. But what are we unconsciously doing that is creating a barrier or an environment?
I mean, I think the first thing that comes to mind, really the biggest thing, and it's not even like a huge thing day to day, but you know, if I showed up in your paddock having never been to one of your events and I get to meet everyone, I just hope no one ever assumes anyone is straight. You know, like if I don't have someone there with me and we're talking about your wife and your kids or whatever, trying to get to know each other, using the word partner instead of girlfriend or wife, I mean, that's like the easiest thing to do. And that's like such a quick little thing that if someone says the word partner to me, I immediately know we're cool. It's a very easy thing to do. And otherwise, I mean, oh, go ahead.
Well, and Jeff put in the notes there that we should kind of reflect on this because I'm a retired military, and I was in when we went to the don't ask, don't tell, to the it's acceptable kind of a deal. And military, this is my family. These are my friends. This is literally the people that I'm trapped in a pressurized tube at 30,000 feet that I have to rely on for my life. And I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. And I had been in the habit of saying a lot of bad things. First of all, saying, oh, that's gay when you really mean lame. And
Right.
I consciously made that shift. And I say spouse a lot. Is that okay? Or does it need to be partner?
I mean, I think either is acceptable because like you're not gendering it. I think spouse implies more like that you're married. And I mean, I have a lot of straight friends who aren't married who have just been with their partner and they just use the term partner.
We were one of those for like,
really, partner's kind of the catch-all from what I can
10
tell.
years to get married. So there's
Yeah, there it is. So yeah, there's that's something that I'm doing because I'm saying spouse thinking that I'm trying to be welcoming and I'm alienating.
Yeah, but I mean, but having the curiosity and, being willing to ask, I mean, that also goes a really long way, because like, okay, you're not saying that you know everything and you're being a little vulnerable and that's perfect. And maybe I'll be more vulnerable with you in return. And, I think the other thing that it's not really I wouldn't call it an aggression or anything, but like a kind of an affirmation thing is just, if you commit to, if you hear people using slurs or, language that's not really appropriate, even if there's no gay people in your little circle who might hear it, like if the tree falls and no one hears it, it still fell in this case. So like, you should still call it out. And if people don't want to change, like, do you need to associate with those people or not?
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Because it's like, that's kind of a principles thing, at least to me.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It's funny. I kind of teach social justice for a living. And we just came back from my coworkers were hosting a social justice weekend, and they had some great conversations about, giving people some grace if they're trying.
Yeah.
And I think my son is 14 and, he is like constantly, has friends who are, discovering their own sexuality and, gender pronouns, a big thing. And like, he'll say one wrong and he'll kill himself. He'll be like, I didn't mean to say it that way. And I have to tell him like, no, Josh, you're trying.
Right.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah. And I have had a lot of people at the track in particular who have said, like, I don't want to be offensive. I just have some questions. And on the one hand, like, I'm not looking to be everyone's educator.
Yeah.
However, I'm also willing to sit down and have a beer and like give you my perspective because at least you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
So
I've got a friend out here on the West Coast, and we were doing something with a race series, and we were deliberately trying to make fun of Texas and their homophobia. And, but I called him and said, hey, look, this is what we're doing. I want to get us straight opinion about this. And he said, well, then you've already called the wrong person.
Okay,
Kind of set the tone. I'm like,
We're calling
okay,
Matt.
all right.
good. Good.
And
Yeah.
but it was just one of those things. And I think if it had come from a different perspective, but yeah, the friend was letting me get away with it. Like you said, it was, you know, I want to make sure I'm not being an asshole.
I think if you're thinking about not being an asshole, you're probably not being an asshole.
Go. So this is intriguing. We've been. I don't want to go too far off this and bring it back to cars and stuff, but with your stated goals and you know you're flying the pride flag heavily, and then you're trying to do new car reviews. So how has it been working with the manufacturers? Have you found maybe some friends in the you know are you getting better treatment or worse treatment or weird treatment or anything from any of the manufacturers?
I think we're getting the treatment that we've earned, as far as, you know, the quality of
I like
content,
that a lot. Yeah.
the statistics. You know, we post big numbers for the website and the YouTube channel for how small we are. And you know, I think it's easy on the surface to be like, oh, they're feeding a niche market, and you know, there's some like diversity inclusion goals, so of course they're being fed cars. We're not. I have to ask for everything, and I get turned down for stuff. But you know, part of the motivation for doing the car reviews was seeing what other people with small channels were doing and saying, okay, manufacturers are sending them stuff, and frankly, I don't think it's very good. I can do it better.
Heck
We
yeah.
can do it better. You know, I've got other
Good
people
for
that do
you.
Yeah.
So step one is like, there can be photos that are good and reviews that are like something all of us would want to read and learn something from.
Yep.
And the other part of it is, as I've gotten deeper in the gay and queer car community, you start running into these circles of people who identify as queer, who are in automotive media, who are in automotive PR, who are in automotive manufacturing, whatever.
Yep.
And none of them are really overtly explicitly out. And I'm not saying everyone has to be, but there are some big names that all of you would know, and most of your listeners would know, who are not. Maybe people would be surprised, maybe not. But my question to all of these people is like, where were you when I was a kid, wondering if I could be gay and into cars? And I wrote fake car reviews, you know, on our typewriter at home when I was a little kid. And like, you know, if you look back on it, it's like, I don't know if I ever thought those two things could cross. And knowing, you know, it's the same deal with like Hurley Haywood. Like, Hurley is amazing.
Yes.
I so wish
the
he
high
was
school
openly
kid, yeah.
out when I was figuring out like, this is who I am, and oh, I want to play with cars. So same deal for all the automotive media people. And I just decided that I'm going to be the automotive media that's very, very visible. And if people don't like it and they don't want to send me cars, too bad.
Yeah.
Like, there's other people that will. I'm busy.
That's funny. The first automotive journalist I ever hung out with was Brett Burke. When he was writing for Vanity Fair.
And when
writing
he says hung out with, what he really means is trapped poor Brett in the back seat of a 72 Lincoln Continental for 5 days from New York to New Orleans.
Oh God!
In the summer.
Brett had enough bourbon to keep him satisfied back there for a while. So it was like,
He broke down a lot, and he walked to the liquor store.
It was a long. This was a long time
It was
ago.
a
That
long
was
time.
early,
This was-
mid 2000s.
Yeah, when he was still
Okay.
writing for Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
Before he moved to Car and Driver, before he became, you know, he was the guy who wrote the Gay Uncle book. You know what I mean?
Right.
He wasn't an automotive journalist. It was almost like gay journalist who happens to be doing automotive content.
Mhm.
And you know, we were doing a cross country rally, New York to New Orleans, and he posted on the forums like, "Hey, would anyone allow me to, you know, embed with your team?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Because I want the press."
Right.
Like, it had nothing to do.
I
like,
don't think
you
on
know.
that trip we actually should have wanted the press.
No, it was a terrible trip,
had
but
a real experience though, like no doubt.
he did.
Yes.
The one funny thing that I know that happened was we broke down 7 times in the first day. It was a 73 Lincoln Continental. We were leaving from Staten Island. We had broken down, I guess, about 4 or 5 times at that point, and we're on the Beltway, and he's in the back seat, and he goes, do you hear that clicking sound? It like seems to be like wheel speed. And I'm like,
It's fine.
shut up, journalist. What do you know about cars? I built this thing. Why haven't I
He
fixed
didn't
it?
say that though. Like, don't.
That's in my brain. That was in my brain.
No, I was gonna
Right.
say, like, you weren't.
journalist-
You're not an ass. Like,
yeah,
you,
the
well, you didn't
journalist
say that.
doesn't know about car. 2 minutes later, blowout. We had already picked up something in the tire tread. Yeah, that was
No, you were much.
terrible.
You're much nicer than that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And Brett has been a friend since he came back a couple times, but we've actually, yeah. Anyway, so yeah,
He's one I would love to meet. We've chatted on Instagram and not met yet, but as I said, circles,
yeah,
seem to be running tighter and tighter. So
he is a great guy. So if you ever do get a chance,
yeah,
don't mention me. He'll be like that guy.
Like, I
He nearly
don't know
killed
you.
me.
He's gonna be like,
he'll-
wait, what?
He'll
Who are you
sit in the
talking about?"
corner and start crying a lot and bring me bourbon now.
No, since he moved out of New York
PTSD.
City, I really haven't seen him in years and years. So, but anyway, yeah, no, but it's great to hear that the content is really coming your way and the cars are coming your way, and it's not about trying to feed a market, because I think that would be kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be kind of disingenuous. The one thing that's been really cool that we're doing as part of the track events is something that has been manufacturer funded, that has come out of, I think, desire to support, I&D sort of efforts. But we are giving away 5 entries and 5 hotel rooms per track event we're hosting.
Oh,
Whoa.
that's
So
awesome.
we have a manufacturer funded scholarship program in effect to get people here who maybe couldn't afford it.
No,
and
wait,
that
I
is-
haven't read that anywhere on your site or anything. Is this like an exclusive? Are you talking about that for the first time?
Because we're going to
here?
tell everybody it's an exclusive.
No, we've given away the ones for May
excellent.
already. We had an application process and a little committee and everything, and we'll post the link to apply for October closer to the date.
That's cool. You said it's manufactured. Do you want to shout them out? Give them some press?
Yeah, a 1,000,000%. Toyota, Mazda, and Michelin have all made this happen.
That is
To
awesome.
the tune of a lot of money. And I have a call tomorrow. Chevrolet has decided what they're going to do as well. I don't know what, but I'll find out tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
So,
ask
yeah.
for a Corvette. That's what I'm saying.
That could probably be made to happen.
Yeah.
I did talk to Cadillac as part of the May event, and there will be a Blackwing in attendance.
Oh, come on.
So if that's motivation to come,
Clear my schedule now.
I got to start looking at Southwest flights.
yeah.
That's great. So very manly topic here, but I love your toe pig reviews.
Thank you.
Your truck
That was
reviews
something
have
that
been
no one else was
fantastic.
doing.
Absolutely,
And
that's what I said. I said that he's
it's-
actually towing with the cars. These
right, and
trucks.
truly, like, you read all these reviews and watch these videos, and everyone's like, it'll go very detailed on, really disappointed it has halogen turn signal bulbs, and then they get into the, oh, and it can tow 8,000 pounds next, and it's like, well, for a lot of people that matters. Like, is it good or not? So
Yeah.
I wanted to do it, and every manufacturer's been supportive of the idea. They love the fact that someone wants to do it.
That's great. So we already mentioned we have an 02 in the. I think I have the youngest tow pig in the fleet, and it's a 2012 Nissan Titan. So
Okay.
sooner or later, we're buying a new tow pig. What's
Uh-huh.
out there? What's been cool? What's your current suggestion? Because 5 years from now, it'll be on the used market, and we can pick it up.
Well, I enjoyed the F-150 Power Boost, the one that's the hybrid,
Oh.
because you can plug your trailer 240 volt into the truck, and it acts as a generator in the paddock if you don't have power. So you can have your trailer powered with AC or heat or whatever, and the truck will run for it's like a gallon per hour that it can run on your gas tank. So, it's an EcoBoost that pulls like a freight train, and then it's got a hybrid battery and electric motor, and it's a generator.
It's way better on fuel in the paddock than my little Yamaha 3500.
Seriously,
and quiet.
actually.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a really cool one. I'm waiting to drive the updated Silverado that's got Super Cruise, because Chevy has added Super Cruise with towing,
That's
and
the
I I am admittedly
Yes.
terrified to try this.
I am
I'm
Chris
really
has
scared.
a dream.
I am so not.
We all have this dream at the end of a paddock weekend, the race weekend, to say to the car, drive me home. The truck.
Exactly.
And that's it.
I don't want autonomous driving on my way to work. You know, I listen to the radio, I get involved, I yell at people that use their turn signals. But on Sunday at the end of a track
Mhm.
day, that is when I want my vehicle to drive me home. And I
Yeah.
keep telling, you know, all the automotive manufacturers that don't listen to this podcast, build me an autonomous RV. So I can
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
crack open a beer, lay back on the couch. I'll put a seatbelt on. I'm okay
Yeah,
with that.
Right.
Totally.
And take me home.
Well, we'll
We-
see what Super Cruise does, but they're adding it for some trims for 2023, I think. So
And I
Coming
know
soon.
they've been testing it on the Denali, so it's not like it's new tech.
The
So,
Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it started with the Escalade, and then they've added it. It's like the Silverado High Country and Sierra Denali, I think, get it. So
Okay.
excited for that. And then the other one that was a surprise that I did not think would be very good with an enclosed trailer behind it. I had a Jeep Gladiator diesel that I adored.
Really?
Like
Might have
old-
some of the most personality of any new car in the market, especially with the diesel like clattering away.
Torque for days, I imagine.
It's got torque. It's got a long wheelbase. The rear end is basically Ram 1500 coil spring stuff, and hold my enclosed just fine.
and looks cool around town. Like
Yeah,
I
and it's a
wish
convertible.
Gladiators like were somewhat affordable or somewhat like okay to drive without a trailer. Because
The problem is that if you take away the fact that it can tow, it's a big Wrangler, and Wranglers
Just-
are,
penalty box.
yeah, especially for new car money. Wranglers
Yeah.
are like, they're fun, but like I couldn't spend that kind of money on one.
Jeep people are different Jeep people. And let's just say, I don't mean to insult Jeep people. I'm just
No,
not
but you
Jeep people.
either get it or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I have
And
a Veloster
Don't they
N.
post
I
that
don't
on their
want to
vehicle.
It's on every spare tire cover.
Yeah, exactly.
every-
Exactly. Right.
Life is
I mean,
life
they
is
admit
good.
it. Yeah.
I for a rally that we initially had a piece of garbage Cadillac that fell apart on us in Arizona. We ended up renting one of it wasn't the Gladiator, but the new Jeep Turbo 4-cylinder, but it's got the 8-speed. What's the transmission on that
It's
one, Chris?
Asian, isn't it?
EF. It's the same ZF they put in everything.
Yeah, the ZF
Yeah.
transmission, which magically transformed that vehicle, and aside from the suspension, was pleasant to drive from Las Vegas to West Texas, and
Yeah,
then on to
the-
Florida. Yeah.
The modern 8 speeds, especially the ZF, are really good.
Mhm.
And it's just so fascinating that they've got like the same more or less design that they can do in a Jeep, a BMW,
Lexus.
Ram 1500, a Lex,
Yeah.
right? Like, it just works. They beef it up to support different torque. So they've done a nice job.
Modern automatics don't suck like the
No.
TH50 we all think of. Like our Mercedes wagon has a 9-speed, and it's really very, very good at what it does.
Yeah. And, you mentioned with the Suburban you have and the 4-speed, my Yukon was the same. And I remember with that towing out of a rally cross, I was towing a friend's Volvo up some mountain in like Western Maryland. And I could do like 40 in third or 55 in second. And I opted for 55 in second. So then it got 4 miles a gallon.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Yep, been
like
there.
And the engine was going to come
overheated.
into my lap. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was screaming.
It's trying to overheat at every 4
Yeah.
freaking minutes. Yeah.
And meanwhile, now you've got like 3 overdrive gears and all these other ratios that are spaced so closely that like any hill is just not a problem. And then you add forced induction on top of that. And I mean, like my Cayenne is a little monster of this like smallish SUV. So
Very nice.
it's
When
wild.
you say overdrive, I can't think of anything other than a Corvette that I own that just doesn't have the crash.
That's a Doug Nash.
Got
Uh,
3
Three plus
overdrives.
two.
3 overdrives.
right? Like, can't I
You
just
gotta
have
hit the switch.
Right.
like I just want to be in not 4th overdrive. I just want to be in 5th.
Nope.
No, I just need all the over. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress. I was just when you say overdrive, I'm like,
But
oh,
this is the
overdrive.
exact definition of automatic transmissions have gotten way better.
right.
It's
You're
the Doug
just so amazing
Nash.
for a Corvette. Good.
3 plus 2, whatever the hell that thing is.
7.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone throw this. Someone ask him this next to last one there.
Anything you specifically really actually want to review bucket list? Like what like if you got the next thing to come down you'd love to have, what are you looking for?
I mean, I've got some cool stuff booked. I've got stuff coming till June, so I've got a lot of neat. Like, there's a lot of bucket list stuff coming.
Excellent.
I've got a Maverick coming. I've got a Monkey GT. The Blackwing was one of those when they reached out to say, here's the dates for the Blackwing, does this work? And then Cadillac replied and said, yes, you can put it on the track. That was a like, I've done this right. They said no drifting and no burnouts.
Okay.
Because they want me to save the tires. But they said like laps at speed were fine.
Yeah, Kambisa's got to destroy all of those tires.
Right. I don't know. I've got a Golf R coming, and a Civic Si. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I think is good that I'm just really excited for, because it's like a lot of it is attainable to a lot of different types of people with different budgets.
I think the Maverick is very there are not a lot of people who got the Maverick so far.
I'm stoked about it. I was supposed to have that back in like February, and I think someone hit something with it. And there's a lot of times where they call you the day before and they're like, yeah, this is in the shop now for like unexplained, and it's like, yeah, someone hit something with it.
Journalists, that's the problem.
Yeah.
No.
So
maybe they were trying to apex a turn on their way to work.
Right.
That's got a giant
college campus.
Yeah, got a giant giant pothole on that. Do you know if it's going to be the Eco Boost?
One goat and goat for the rest of your life.
Do you know if it's going to be the Eco Boost, or you're getting the I don't want to say baseline, but the powertrain I'm interested in is that the entry level.
Yeah. So we have one of each in the local fleet. So like, we're all serviced out of different, whatever region you're in. Yeah. They have a big warehouse of cars for you. We have one of each. I'm pretty sure the one I'm getting is a Lariat EcoBoost with all-wheel drive. Usually they come fully loaded, which is a blessing and a curse. There is a like blue XL with Steely's hybrid front-wheel drive model in the fleet. I just don't know if I'm getting it. But others that have
everybody wants. Not everybody wants. All of us weirdo people want.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. That one's going to be. I mean, starts under $20,000. It gets like 40 miles a gallon on the highway, and it's useful.
It also gets like 40 miles per gallon street on like driving it to. I have a 12-mile surface commute. It is costing me right now $10 a day to drive to work, with gas over $5 and a big thirsty V8. So I'm interested in all of these kinds of things.
Yeah. I can't convince my wife to get one, but we're going to drive the Ioniq 5. So.
Ooh.
June 9th. I'll have that.
All right.
I've got my spreadsheet up.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Can we cars and see if it's on there?
Yeah. We went to the local Hyundai dealer because I was getting my oil changed. And I took her over to him. I'm like, these are all electric, because we drove the Model 3. We did the Tesla thing, and I was like, these are way better than the 3. And she was like, but it's like not really an SUV. It's kind of smaller than I thought. I'm like, well, why do you need bigger? Like, it's still got all that trunk room. It's still got all the everything. Like, so she's interested. We're gonna cross shop it with the Tucson plug-in. So and the Prime. We got a friend with a RAV4 Prime on his lot. So
I had a Prime last year when those were like first new and hot. And I actually liked it quite a bit for what it was. It's like it's RAV4. It's exactly what you think, but you can go quite a big distance on just the battery. So if that covers your day-to-day driving, then you never burn gas with it.
Yeah. They're impossible to find on the lot. And a friend who finished behind us at a Lemons race once by about a second and a half.
The Johnson's guys. Fantastic.
I'm trying not to.
Hello.
People will go buy them. I want them to wait there.
They'll go buy them from our friend who races.
All right, you're right. Johnson's Toyota up in southern New York. The guy's got like 3 or 4 of them on the lot, and he's like, come up anytime.
Yeah.
So
that's
thank
fantastic.
You, Steve Jardine.
Yeah. So this is again another one of those odd questions, because you said, I'm not trying to serve a niche market, but at the same time, you're clearly trying to, as you said, I'm an out enthusiast gearhead. I can't be the only one. And you have clearly, not just from that, from talent, you've got all these cars in your calendar, so you're already driven, because I'm exhausted listening to your schedule. But you recognize that there is a market out there that it can enhance everything that we do with gearheads. What are your goals for Out Motorsports? Because now, in my mind, I think ultimately the goal would be there's no need for it, because we all just come to the point of it doesn't matter. Are you at the track? You're one of us, kind of a deal. But what are your immediate, and then your 5-year and your 10-year kind of goals? Where do you see this whole thing?
Yeah. So I think that the goal of not needing it is it's a very altruistic one. But I think is,
won't happen,
yes, I would love that.
That's the direction you still go in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, society always evolves. I think we'll get to we're at a decent point. I think we'll get to a better point. But I think there will always be an appeal in having events and content created for you by people who are like you. You see it. There are a lot of websites and channels for, women who are into cars, or, Black automotive journalists, or like things like that, that it just, a lot of people like to consume content and see themselves in whatever they're consuming. So I think it'll evolve. And as far as other goals, we're hosting more events this year, but they're all kind of on the East Coast, kind of within 4 hours of DC. I've heard from a lot of people who are in, other parts of the US, Texas, Midwest, California, Florida, like all over the place. Come here next. Come to this track.
I'm 4 hours from Buttonwillow, and I'm 3 hours from Willow Springs. So
yeah, I'm getting a lot of comments like that right now. And I would love to do more events, both track and these like road, like tour rally sort of drives. And all I need is like strategic partners in other parts of the country to help make that happen. So I think we will get there. I would like to do more elsewhere next year. And I think I've got some friends who could help make that happen. So we'll see. And my, you said like the longer term 5-year sort of thing. I would love to quit my job and do this full time.
There you go.
Like,
that's awesome.
Isn't that like the
at my
dream, right? To be a full-time like YouTuber, author, journalist.
Yeah,
like
and what was funny, I got promoted back in October at my day job, and we started having the conversation, me and my boss, talking about, well, where do you want to grow from here, and where do you want to go? And my day job company knows that I do all this; they support all of it. But like the thing I didn't tell him super straight up was like, in 5 years, I don't know if I want to be here doing this. Like I like you guys, but
very post-COVID conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think your future is? Not at this effing desk, yo. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So we'll see if we can keep growing this thing, and I don't know. I think we can.
Well, yeah, that kind of, I mean, again, I don't know if this is the right thing to say. I love that you're serving your community, but just purely as an enthusiast, there is legitimate content on this website. I mean, it's fantastic stuff. Like Jeff said, just no one else is doing tow pig reviews.
Yeah.
From, every race car driver needs something to haul their race car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not everyone wants a 2500 series pickup truck.
Or if they do, they want to know which is the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I handed my wife the iPad with the RAV4 review. I didn't say, this is a LGBT review. It didn't matter.
Right.
It was just a review for the car on someone that I trust, like I've watched this guy's content. It wasn't you that did. I think it was the other guy on your site.
I did the RAV.
You did the RAV? No,
yeah.
There was another one then. The Ionic at the show.
He had some, he did the video of the Ionic.
That's what it was. It was the Ionic
Yeah.
video. Yeah. But anyway, is that your part? You said you had a partner in the business.
Yeah. My friend Tyler helped start everything,
Tyler,
and he was living up by Philly, and now he's here near me. So we're gonna try and do some stuff together, video wise. So once he's a little more settled, we'll get 2 microphones and stand on camera and look like doofuses together. So
Chris, Tyler also recently towed home a 944. Just saying.
That doesn't mean it's a good choice.
No.
But
Yeah, I don't know how well it
At
runs.
all.
I've been given one rule in this race team. I'm not
Ew.
allowed to purchase a 944.
Or a DSM.
Mm.
Yeah, but I don't want a DSM anymore.
Right, I was
I've
gonna
had
say,
one.
like, if you bought
they're
one, we'd
not
just be like,
anymore. No.
no.
Now they're getting expensive.
Never mind.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Jake, you got to throw out, we've got a link in the show notes, obviously, to the website, to the calendar, to the article about, I love this 48, bizarro orphaned cars on a racetrack article.
I'll put that right here on the YouTube.
There you go. Yes. We'll have that video. That'll be fantastic. What other social media that general consumers of automotive content can find you on, or for people that might be looking for a safe space that want to see there, where can they find you?
We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And I made us a TikTok, and I don't know what to do with it, but you can follow us.
We
there.
don't either, but we have
follow
one
me.
as well.
My TikTok is
Okay.
Yeah.
on
E1R.
fleek.
We also have E1R TikTok. We have E1R Snapchat and Reddit. And we're making
No
it
idea
up as we
what
go
Oh, good. Now
along.
we don't need the closing credits because Mental just did that for us. Okay, good.
All right. Chris, this is Jake. This is the final segment of our show.
Yeah, well, just obviously, thanks, Jake, for that. That was great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Seriously.
thanks
About
for
what
having
you
me.
guys are doing. This is
Stick
wonderful.
around, please.
Yeah, so our last segment, we vary this. This one is one of the ones that we do. It's called On the Spot, where
On the spot.
where one of us gives a question and doesn't tell everyone else what it is until we ask it, and then we got to go around the horn with a fairly brief answer. And Jake, you've basically already given us your answer, and this is inspired by that. So everyone else, and Jake, you can add one too. If you could get a random press vehicle in 3 weeks, what was the one random press vehicle you would like from the current manufacturer's fleet?
I know, because we can't find one to drive. It's the Ioniq 5.
Okay.
We go to Hyundai and they're like, we got 3 of them. Sorry, they're sold. You're not allowed to touch them. Please don't breathe on it. Step back from the car. Go ahead, Mental.
All right. I've driven the 2015 version, but I still want to drive. I want, as a press loaner, an AMG GT.
Ooh,
Who does it?
that'd be good. Yeah.
Yes. The GTS with the dial-a-hoon button,
hmm
or
That was
dial-a-hoon
going to be
knob.
one of my choices, Mental. Now I have to pivot. Okay.
Chrissy, you
Sorry.
got one?
I don't even know new cars. Like,
Oh.
I don't.
Anything you would be interested in driving?
Oh, I know what you want to
I know what you-
drive.
I mean, I haven't now. What?
How about Taycan Cross Turismo GTS?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Does it have the engine noises?
Maybe.
Oh,
Sure.
they
Pull
need
the
engine
fuse.
noises.
Pull the fuse. Pull the fuse.
I was gonna say Civic Type R
I
because
was
you
gonna say
didn't
Civic
get
Type R. Yes.
because you
yes.
didn't get to drive
I'm
one
gonna
when
wait
you
till
were
the
shopping.
23 for this. All
Well,
right, and I'm gonna say a GLS 63 to see how posh a tow vehicle I can make it.
Mm. I keep
That's our
asking
next
for one of
thing.
those.
then that's our like a dream upgrade. Like, but we're never getting rid of the. If something ever were to happen with the Suburban or the Yukon,
Oh well.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Jake, you were saying.
No, I have asked for one of those repeatedly, and they have not had one in our fleet with a hitch installed on it.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
So I need to get in their ear about ordering one.
Look, just bring me the hitch. I'll install it.
Right.
I'll
Right.
put the whole thing on a video. It'll be great.
Right. I'm good with a sawzall.
I'll take it to U-Haul. I'll let a professional do
Right.
it.
Right. They can even do the wiring.
Oh.
I'll give you another one. I know I said the Blackwing was like look mom, I made it sort of thing. Whenever the day comes where BMW agrees to send me a car, that will be a big deal because they have very high standards for who gets their stuff.
Okay.
Interesting.
So I had a Mini Cooper recently, which I think sort of counts, but
Dark green, very sexy.
Getting there,
Nice.
getting there.
it
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was beautiful.
Six speed proper.
Yes, it was a good car, but I want I
An
keep pitching
actual-
them with there are so many old BMWs of various ages in the enthusiast world. Send me a new one to do something with, and
Yeah.
nothing. So that'll be Like, I don't even care if it's anything tremendously interesting. Send me like a 330i, but I would also take a highlighter yellow M3.
Of course.
Yeah, just the buck teeth. I don't know.
I'm not saying I like how they look. It would just be more of an accomplishment to have it.
Sure.
You don't see the teeth from the driver's seat.
From the driver's seat. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
Guess I'm three.
Okay.
Well,
great.
all right. Anything left to plug before we hit the credits?
Thanks so much, Jake. Obviously,
Yeah,
you're
it was
busy. We
awesome
appreciate
having you
your
here.
time. This is
No,
fantastic. I hope
thank
we
you.
can share some track time, or at least track
Yeah.
space, or get up to Thompson or New Hampshire. Pit race. I don't know. Yeah, you guys are off to pit race next month.
You run NASA mostly, right?
I run NASA. Yeah. I'm willing to run other stuff. I just don't I'm busy enough. I don't keep tabs on other schedules, but if
Yeah.
someone invites me, I would love to go.
The pit race NASA weekend that what is it,
Crossover Great Lakes Mid Atlantic one. It's in July.
is
Mhm.
probably the greatest event, the greatest
It's so fun.
teaching event. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We'll be there. So
I'm gonna try and make it to that one.
heck
We're not.
yes.
We're not going to Grid Life. I thought we convinced Grid Life and
It's not the
No.
same.
Oh, okay,
different.
never mind.
Great Life Lime Rock, but
Different.
Grid Life Lime Rock. All right,
We're
cool.
good. But pit race is like a hard stop for us. That's what we do because it's
Yeah.
such a great event. Okay. Next show. It's been a little while, but the new homeowner, soon to be married, fifth host Eric Rude will be here to talk about, well, whatever he really wants to talk about. So it's probably going to include the eBay Presents Halloween Meets Gasoline prize, and hopefully he can give us some insight on how we can win all the time. No, we know how we can win. Maybe some rally action and his favorite Stellantis product. Eric is always a fun time. He'll be back.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Jake, for coming, and thank you all of us for listening, downloading us, checking us out on YouTube, wherever you're getting this content. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us for the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It is totally free. Then go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, write us down there in the doodly-doo. We'll reply. Hit the like, hit the smash, whatever button you feel like it. Questions, ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can text Mental 484-243-0455. He loves pictures of your junk that's in your driveway, not in your pants, please. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers, YouTube, Facebook. It's all everyone.racers, except Reddit, which is /E1R for some reason. I don't know.
They wouldn't let me do /everyone.
There you go.
Race.
Whatever. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.